Hi, in this video we're going to be dealing with how to actually record a MIDI part. MIDI being standing for Musical Instrument Digital Interface, and it's a way of some sort of controller, usually a keyboard device, communicating with Cubase and being able to program your own melodies and drum patterns and whatever. So the way we start with that is we right click in this sort of shaded area here, and there are two different types of MIDI tracks that you can sort of deal with. An instrument track allows you to send MIDI signals to internal software instruments installed on the system only. And a MIDI track allows you to do that as well, but you can also send MIDI information out of the computer to perhaps some sort of external MIDI device like a MIDI sound module or drum machine or whatever. We're going to be dealing with instrument tracks to start off with. So we just add instrument track, and it brings up this window which allows us to choose how many instrument tracks we want. We can sort of have up to, well, however many we want, but we'll just sort of deal with one. And the type of instrument that we will be dealing with. And in there, if we click in there, it will give you a list of exactly what kind or what type of MIDI software instruments are installed on the system. Now, I'm currently on the computer in AS221, and this won't have the big list of software that's installed on the computers in AS223 and AS224. But whenever you install a software instrument, if you've installed it right, it should be added to this list. So I'm going to choose an instrument. This one here is the Halion 1. This is a sort of synth, well, it's a sampler really, and this allows us to use MIDI information and to trigger a whole array of sounds, which we'll be showing in a little minute. So with that selected in there, if we just click on Add Track, and the track is added here. And when I sort of press it, you can see on the transport bar down here, I'm hitting the keyboard, and you can see that MIDI activity is actually taking place. You can't hear anything yet because I haven't actually installed what we call a patch or a preset. That means just select a certain sound on this instrument. All right, with a track sort of brought up and highlighted, you can see that extra sort of panels are brought up on the main arrangement window. This panel here is called the inspector, and this contains information about whatever sort of track is selected down here. At the moment, we've only got one instrument track, so there's only one sort of inspector panel. And as you sort of select other instrument panels, for example, if I just add an audio track, we'll come on to audio in a little bit later. You can see that the inspector now has sort of changed to display the sort of information and data associated with this particular track. And for however many tracks you've got listed down here, it will sort of change accordingly. All right, well, I'm just going to get rid of that to stop us getting confused. So I'm on the instrument track. If I want to display the instruments, there's a little sort of icon here just underneath where it says Halion 1. And if you hover your mouse pointer over any sort of function just for a couple of seconds, it will display exactly what that button does. And you can see there it says Edit Instrument. So if I click on that, it brings up the actual instrument interface. So at the moment, this is all blank really, because we haven't loaded a patch up yet. And the way that we can load a patch up is if we bring up the Edit Instrument panel and we click in this sort of window at the top, and it brings up this window, all right, which is currently set to show categories of instruments. All right, so we start at this end over here on the left, and you can see there are categories of accordion, bass, brass, chromatic percussion, all different kinds of sort of instrument. So if I click on, let's say, for example, piano, all right, that immediately sort of opens up a subcategory here. We've got acoustic piano, electric, grand, or other, and you can see there are numbers here telling me how many particular sort of instrument presets or patches there are associated with that particular subcategory. So if we just click on acoustic piano, and then we sort of jump over to this sort of side over here, and this is a sort of filter category designed to be able to help you to choose pianos with different character. So we've got acoustic, bright, clean, percussive, processed, and single. So if I just sort of unselect all of those, and or I could sort of select them all, and all the sort of available patches will be displayed here. All right, so this is where the actual patches are stored. We've selected various different sort of parameters. If you don't really want to deal with this whole page, you can sort of simplify this. If you click on the bottom left-hand corner down here and just unclick the filter box, all right, it will give just that one sort of search results sort of list. And this is a bit like a search engine for patches. So if I sort of type in here, for example, I'm going to type in piano. All right, it will search all the patches associated with Halion with the word piano in it. And you can see that they're all sort of different ones here. And they all sound a little bit different. Perhaps some of them will be radically different. So I've got an acoustic piano. Let's just pick the top one. So if I click on that, you can see there now acoustic piano has been loaded up into the sampler. If I press the keyboard, you can hear there that that piano is now sort of selected and able to be triggered. Okay, and in the inspector here, you can see that the name of that patch has been sort of loaded into there. And also here as well, you can sort of open up the patch browser from, you don't really need to sort of get the you know, the instrument panel up every time. You can just sort of click in there, and if we want to change it at any point, we can click in there, an electric piano. All right, and there's a different type of piano patch. Okay, so we're going to record some MIDI now, and this is fairly easy. All we need to do is make sure that the click track is on, because we want to be able to hear what tempo the digital conductor is sort of dictating. And at the moment it's 145 BPM. I'm just going to sort of change that by double clicking in there. I'm going to change it back to the default tempo of 120 beats per minute. I'm going to just squeeze the screen up a little bit, all right, so I can see this one bar. All right, I'm going to change one of the options on here in the transport menu at the top. All right, if you click on there, there is one option down here which is pre-count on or off. At the moment it's not ticked, which means it's off. So as soon as I click on that, it means my pre-count is now on. What that means is that when I press record, it's going to give me a count in. The digital conductor is going to count me in, and it's currently set to its default value of 2 bars. So as soon as I press record, it will give me a 2-bar count in, and I will sort of play back some really rubbish melody to make a new MIDI part. Okay, so here we go. So we've got a MIDI part in there now, and with cycle mode engaged, it will play it back and sort of keep replaying it back. Okay, so I'm just going to turn the click off now, just so I can hear the part play back without that sort of really annoying audio click. Okay, and something that I want to be able to do with it now is be able to edit that part. And one of the first things that you should reach for is something called quantize. What quantize is it automatically corrects whereabouts you've played the notes and puts them digitally in time to a quantized grid, similar to what we were looking at in the previous video with the snap value. All right, currently it's sort of set to 1/16 of a bar. So what it will do, if I just open up the editor by double clicking, we're going to come back to the key editor. You can see the beginnings of these notes are slightly sort of off, you know, the sort of digital grid. What I'm going to do, if I just select, I mean, you don't need to do the quantize in this window, but just to sort of show you what it's actually doing. If I press Q for quantize now, all right, you can see that all those notes, let me, if I just undo that, all right, that's where they were originally. And if I press Q, it's going to drag them all to the nearest 16th of a bar, and that can be set to 1/8 of a bar or quarter notes of a bar or wherever. Okay, so if we play that back now, all right, all those notes are digitally in time with the main tempo. Okay, and that's the end of that video.